The pain is too, there's too much, there was so much abuse.
Off a lonely country road is a story buried back more than 20 years.
I ended up starting to get into some trouble with the law, and I was kind of running wild. And so at that time, my mother could not handle me, so she handed me over to foster care.
In 1980, Greg Van Riper was a 12-year-old boy. He came to live here. Back then, this farm was a foster home, operated by Alice and Wilf Mayer.
I think the first time that I went there, I think I was 9 or 10.
Rob Hillock was one of 10 other kids already living at the farm. Both men say they carry horrific memories of their time here.
I was locked in my room at night. I went to the bathroom in a pail. Lots of times I was beaten with a black rubber hose. Sometimes we would haul bales all day or pick rocks for 10 or 12 hours a day.
Bullwhips, breadboards, punches to the face. Summer was just horrible. We couldn't go to school. You couldn't get away from it.
But Greg tried. Several times he ran away, in one attempt nearly freezing to death by hiding out in a barn. Finally, at age 14, Greg went to live with his dad. Rob remained.
Social workers, we told them we were getting beat, and nobody listened. Teachers, my parents, social workers, nobody believed us. They always returned us.
Finally, in 1985, the province moved in and shut the home down after nearly a decade of operation. An internal government memo dated 1987 offered an official explanation for the closure. The reasons, it says, were based on medical neglect and social isolation that led us to believe there may have been physical abuse, limited and/or discouraged contact with the family and child, unrealistic expectations and control, overtones of sexual abuse, and misuse of foster care maintenance funds. The RCMP conducted an investigation, but the Crown decided not to pursue charges. Over the years, the new owners of this property say they've been visited several times by former foster children who have returned to face down their demons. The owner tells me about one time when a boy stood in her kitchen just shaking, overcome with the memories of his time here. Greg says it was important to him to come back, but more important, he's looking for acknowledgement. He wants someone, somewhere, to take responsibility.
These people needed to be brought to justice in some regard.
That's why Greg is suing both the province and his former foster parents for $500,000. Jean Lafrance was the acting Deputy Minister of Social Services when the Mayer home was shut down. He says he has no knowledge of this particular case, but he estimates that since the 1950s, hundreds of kids have been victimized while in Alberta foster care.
And last fall we had a gathering of 200 of these people, and I think they really were the tip of the iceberg. And the stories that they had to share with us left me absolutely numb.
Lafrance says going through the courts often victimizes survivors a second time. So he's calling on the province to come forward and take responsibility.
It might be something for the province to think about, is to find a way to acknowledge and recognize some of this.
Going through this is just like reliving the whole thing again in many regards.
Even when we got out of the foster home when we were 17, when they closed it down, there was never any mention of counseling, no offering, no, you know, here's some money, get a start on your life, we're sorry. I ended up living on the street. I think I lived on the street until I moved to Red Deer, you know, on and off, you know, it was brutal.
5 years have passed since Greg launched his lawsuit. The mayors have denied the claims and little legal progress has been made. And though Rob has no plans to seek legal action, as he approaches his 40th birthday, he says it's time to confront the demons of his past. The biggest fear for both men is that the memories of this place may never let them go. For Global News, this is Heather Yourex reporting.